I really don't think people understand what is coming over the next 18 months, especially if you're working in corporate America. If that's you, you might want to save this video for later, and please share it with a friend who's working in corporate. We are seeing what they are calling the Great Restructuring. And essentially, it is consolidation of people and humans within an organization as they blend with technology. It basically means that companies are looking to get rid of irrelevant job titles, job roles. They're looking to get rid of these massive teams that don't get anything accomplished for 3 or 4 years. I've spoken to so many people who have been laid off over the last 2 to 3 years, and I've noticed something. The bigger the company they are at, the less impact they actually have, which makes their resume really, really hard to work. I will get people who share with me projects they've worked on where they've been one of 20 people. If you're in a role like that, it's really hard to define the value that you're bringing to the company you're working at. And it also means you are primed to be consolidated. You see, companies are making decisions of how they blend humans with AI and technology. They are trying to get as much as they can done with the least amount of people possible. Microsoft just announced mass layoffs, and we are going to continue to see companies do this during the Great Restructuring. So if you're working for a big corporation, you've been warned.
People, buckle up. It's about to be a bumpy ride.
The collapse has already begun. We're just not supposed to notice. Look, they've told us that unemployment is down to 4%, but those numbers are a lie. If you haven't looked for work in the last few weeks, you don't count. If you're working 2 or 3 jobs and still can't pay rent, you don't count. Right now, over 66 million people are functionally unemployed. Let that sink in for a minute. 66 million. That is a quarter of the working population in America. We should be very concerned about this, but no one's really talking about it. We're getting distractions coming out of the White House. And look, I know there's a lot going on and a lot of things demand our attention. But if we're going to turn things around, if we're truly going to address the systemic issues affecting every citizen, we've got to pay attention. People are collapsing under the weight of inflation and the job market. I've broken it all down on my Substack, link in the bio. Let me know what you think, though. Are you functionally unemployed?
I don't know who told CNN that this was breaking news, but apparently they're finally reporting that it has not been this hard for Americans to find work since 2021. The number of recurring unemployment claims is at their highest level since November 2021. So what that essentially means is people who have been unemployed for an extended period of time, so they're having to request unemployment multiple times. And at this point, the issue is less around mass layoffs. We've seen that cool for the most part, although there are still several examples like these. But for the most part, that's calmed down. The issue is that people are just not hiring very much. And what is crazy, like this actually blew my mind, 94% of the jobs that were added in June were either in healthcare or state and local government. So essentially, if you are looking for a job, it needs to be in one of those fields. Otherwise, you are going to have a very hard time. We're also approaching a near 3-year high for how long people are remaining unemployed, with the average person being unemployed for up to 6 months. It's also worth noting that in most states, you're only eligible to be on unemployment for 6 months out of every year. And so that essentially means that once you hit that 6 months, you're not even getting that unemployment paycheck. I'll also note that 2 areas that tend to pick up hiring in August is education, with schools going back into session, and construction.
Unfortunately, it gets worse.
The unemployment rate for new college grads has recently surged, and some economists say businesses are now replacing entry-level jobs with artificial intelligence. Here's CBS's Ali Bauman.
Front gate, front gate.
22-year-old Michael Macaluso just earned his degree in mechanical engineering from the University of Connecticut.
You all good?
But this summer, he's back helping manage his hometown pool. He hasn't found a job in his field despite applying for nearly 200 positions.
Did you have any expectations about what the job market would be like when you graduated?
I was told by a lot of people that I was going to get a job right out of college, and then all of a sudden, there's no jobs.
New research finds now, for the first time ever, the unemployment rate among recent college graduates has exceeded the national unemployment rate, ballooning to 6.6% over the past 12 months. Oxford Economics' Matthew Martin.
This is kind of goes against what you would expect. Those with higher educational attainment usually have better employment prospects than those with less educational attainment.
Martin's team believes companies are eliminating formative entry-level jobs, the work handed over to artificial intelligence. Tech companies are leading the way.
AI is permeating every aspect of our lives.
Nariman Farvardin, the president of Stevens Institute of Technology, says his school has been preparing for the AI revolution for the last 10 years. He expects disruption throughout the workforce will be bigger than the disturbance brought on by the introduction of the internet, and it could last up to 15 years.
I think AI has the potential to either augment or maybe totally replace jobs that are physically or cognitively repetitive. These jobs are not only done by entry people. There are certain people who do repetitive things for all of their life. Those jobs are in jeopardy.
Kaylee Totlin just graduated from Stevens with her computer science degree. She did an internship with Verizon as a sophomore, and the company has now hired her.
I think something that's important with entry-level jobs is the networking and the opportunities that you make from it.
Farvardin says his message to students today is the same as it always has been. Get an education that will last a lifetime.
We don't try to teach our students skills. We try to teach students a way to learn on their own for the rest of their lives.
He says workers who innovate alongside AI won't get left behind.
I think we can all see the writing on the wall, which is now that you have a job, it is time to get your house in order. What does your savings look like? How much do you have in there? If you only have 3 to 6 months, you still have work to do, because 3 to 6 months ain't gonna cut it anymore. Not in 2025, maybe 2026, but right now, 3 to 6 months will not cut it. You heard in the video, it's taking a lot longer than that to get a job. It's time to make sure we have our house in order. Where are you bleeding money left and right? Even if you think you're not going to be laid off, it's better to be prepared just in case. And then it'll be a win-win situation. If you don't get laid off, great. If you do, great, you're prepared. Great, you're prepared. Still enjoy life, still be comfortable, but be mindful of the areas where you're wasting money when your savings is not yet up to a year's worth of expenses. And we're talking bare bones expenses. We're not talking your extra fun and all that. No, we're talking bare bones, what you need to stay afloat. If you don't have a year's worth in your savings, you have no business bleeding and wasting money left and right. No, you still have work to do. And I know with how expensive things are, you may not be able to put that much. Anything you can still counts. However amount of money you can put in there still counts. Because should you get laid off, ooh, you'll be surprised how far $20 can go. You'll be surprised how far you can stretch $50. So however amount of money you can put in there, every single month, money must go into your savings. Because if you don't have at least a year's worth of expenses, that's all I'm saying. Good luck to you all. God help us all. Thank you all for watching. I will see you in the next video. Bye.